and turn it over to Val Farrow from Good Earth Advisors.
Hey, hon,
What, sweetheart?
I didn't get any, text from Tricia or note from Tricia.
Think
All right.
somebody needs to mute themselves.
Got it. Go ahead, Val.
Okay, thank you, Rista. And Rista, can you let me know if other people join,
I will.
particularly at certain points? So for those of you that are on the Zoom workshop right now, I'm Val Farrow from Good Earth Advisors. We also have Michael Klitschman from BSC. We were hired by the town, by the city, as Rista and Marty had indicated. We just want to go through a couple slides, and these slides have been extracted from a much more detailed and technical presentation that is on the city's website. So if you're interested in, data and looking at a lot of what has been done in terms of existing conditions, I certainly would encourage you to go visit the city's website. I'll give you that website in a couple minutes, but I think this just gives you a quick snapshot of the corridor. It's 3.5 miles from the 5 Point intersection in downtown, moving eastward to the Torrington City line where it intersects with New Hartford. In general, it's sort of this typical sort of commuting corridor that you might think. But as many of you folks know, if you're living in the corridor, it might be a multifunctional corridor in that people shop there, they commute, but critically, there's people living, thousands and thousands of people living all around the corridor. So it's an interesting analysis if you're interested, as I said, going into the presentation that we've posted on the website. And as we get into more of our detailed work, we're going to be providing more characteristics of each of these areas. Just quickly, our project goals, of course, it's a corridor study because, because of that, we certainly need to look at traffic. We need to look at traffic flow and safety, crash data, all of that related to traffic. But just as important, certainly on equal footing, is the connectivity to the residential areas that I alluded to. And then also some type of multimodal connection, striking this balance between vehicles and pedestrians and cyclists, and let's not forget transit. There's some transit challenges out there, and we're not going to solve all of the issues, but certainly transit is also high on our list, and again, is part of this overall balance. And then included in this corridor analysis is an examination of certain areas that we think could grow, and we want to encourage patterns, whether it's growth or just simply revitalization and general physical improvements, make it look nice, have aesthetic improvements, as well as encouraging development that's going to sustain itself, not something that's going to come and go and a couple years later fails, and then we have to bring someone else in. And believe it or not, parking, the way your front door makes an appearance, there's a number of things that can really be done to improve the sustainability of businesses along the corridor. We've done a lot of work, a lot of existing conditions, a lot of data collection, but in the next couple months, we're going to be continuing our outreach meetings, and we're going to be developing recommendations, not only corridor wide, but in some of these focus areas that we talked about. And then we would go back to 2 more public meetings, one to present these recommendations, probably early December, and then January have a wrap-up meeting. Just quickly, in our analyses, because of the length of the corridor, we're looking in 4 segments. Downtown, obviously, and then as you're moving eastward, we break it up into a western neighborhood commercial, which is mostly what it is, neighborhood commercial. And then as we move towards the city line, we see this transition into larger commercial. And then, of course, the large regional shopping area that's also becoming auto dealers. So that is a critical piece of our analysis, of course, because of traffic generation. The focus areas that we're going to look at is probably 6, 7, maybe 8 of those. It's not just to look at development. It could be multiple options of this. Development, possibly reuse, traffic improvements, maybe some access management, meaning the curb cuts getting in and out of the property. Connectivity, very important. Pedestrian and bicycle connections. ADA accessibility for physically challenged. And of course, placemaking and urban design, making things look nice and imparting a human scale. And I think certainly the last few of these probably would have more relevancy to folks that are actually in residential areas. We want you to stay connected. So here is the website that we have set up. It's a link to the city's economic page. But on there, you'll see a comment form. There's a survey. There's a number of other things. You'll see all our presentations posted as well. And as we have more and more information available, more of that information will be posted. Virtual town hall meetings, we're again shooting for the beginning of December to present recommendations and a final presentation in January. And then last but not least, Rista, you want to touch on the survey that they can have access to via the website?
Sure. As Val mentioned, there's very unique characteristics throughout the corridor. It's not a one size fits all. So we've developed a unique using our GIS mapping. You can search on the map and find a specific location or intersection or property that you want to make a comment on. You can do this as many times as you'd like. So if there's something, some comment that you have about a specific area on East Main Street, you can tell us where that area is and be very right down to the parcel that you're talking about or the intersection. This is the link to this is on our website, and there is also a tutorial, so you can, it's only a few minutes long. Take a look if you have any questions as to how to use it. But it's really meant to give us an idea of really specific things that you want to tell us, not just general overall goals. But if there are some general overall ideas that you have, please feel free to include those as well.
Okay, so maybe we take a tally. Do we have, how many folks do we have?
So we have 4, I believe.
4, okay. Are the mics open?
Nope.
Okay. I think it'd be a great way to start if we, if folks are willing just to go around the room, so to speak, the virtual room, and just do a quick introduction, and if you're not interested, maybe just tell us where you're living and what your interest is in the corridor. And if you want, we would love to hear. If you want to just open it up, tell us about what you're thinking. Are you walking? Are you biking? Is traffic getting in and out of your driveway frustrating? Whatever you feel we should know, we want to hear, and we're here to listen. So Rista, maybe you start since you're in the command of things.
All right, so let's see. We have, it looks like Keith, Maureen, and Sharon on the call. There's been
Okay.
people.
Hi,
coming.
Sharon.
Hi,
Sharon, do you wanna start, Sharon?
sure, I will. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
You can.
Okay, awesome. I am city council, of course, so I'm very interested in what we're doing with our corridor study. But also I live on Circle Drive, which is between Route 4, it's off Route 4, but also between Route 4 and East Main. And so I use those roads all the time, Torringford, East Main, and Route 4. And I think Keith posted before, we developed drive-arounds to avoid certain traffic hazards. I think accessibility for pedestrians and bikers is really important. I too often see people who are walking in the street. We have some sidewalk areas, especially when you get down closer towards the west side of the highway, we have very narrow sidewalks, in some cases with telephone poles in the middle of them, and it's hard for people to get around them. So that's a main concern for me, because I've seen people walking in the street in that area. So I get worried about that. But also traffic flow, for example, and Marty knows this well, we all have that intersection at Doringford West and East Main that is off center basically, and it's a hazard to pull out there at sometimes. So I think traffic flow is really important. Egress and exit, exit and entrance into our commercial places, especially closer to town. We're starting to do a really good job farther out going to market.
Keep going.
I'm sorry, I was just saying that with by Target, Panera across the street, those areas, that's a good traffic flow with the traffic lights there. It's a safer area to pull in and out. But as we get closer to town, it becomes a little bit more hazardous. So I'm really interested personally, but I'm interested as a city council member to hear from other people. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much.
Laureen, I think I said that correctly. If you want to unmute and talk to us. Are you there?
Maybe not.
Maureen from our Board of Finance, so it would be good to hear from her.
Well, maybe we'll.
She's muted.
We'll skip over her for a second and we'll go on, and then maybe she'll come back to us. Keith, are you there? Do you want to unmute and tell us your thoughts?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
This is actually Tom Kendeffer. Keith is the name of my computer.
No.
Sorry.
Hi, Tom.
Well, we know-
Tom,
We
what's
know
your
Tom knows about walking around the town. He's on our Torrington Trails Committee, and he's a very, very active guy around
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Well, I grew up on the Hillside Avenue area, so my main interest is for walking would be because I still own property on Hillside Avenue. My main interest for walking is really the lower part of East Main from Burger King into town. And I think you've already mentioned in the previous thing that the traffic engineers are aware of the need for improvement to the existing sidewalks, which I think should be included as well as with the plans possibly for the new sidewalks. I have to commend Marty and the P&Z committee as they new developments come open on East Main. They're keeping a sharp eye on limiting the access points and assuring that traffic flow is being done properly. And I would think that the consultants would be well advised to spend some good time with them to go over the types of things that the P&Z committee is looking out for. And also going back to my other comment about Torringford West, it's just a too much happening in a little space and not enough room to do it properly in there. People want to turn into the BJ's Plaza, heading west from heading west, and you really can get caught up in that intersection because there's really limited space there right now. So that's basically what I want to say. One last thing. I think it would also be well to just think about, zooming out a little bit and seeing that how, how there are other roads where some traffic could be routed to possibly relieve some congestion, because I would imagine there's a quite a bit of traffic of people coming in from the east to and they may not even stop any place. They'd be trying to pick up Route 8 or just heading straight through town. So I guess that's all I have to say.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
So we had a couple other people join us. So Marie? Is there a Marie? If you're talking, Marie, we can't hear you.
It's showing muted. There we go.
I'm here, Rista.
Oh, hi. How
Tara.
are you, Marie?
There's our councilwoman.
She's here. She's here.
What would you like to talk about? What's your thoughts on the corridor?
Well, my thoughts have always been, Rista, that things move too slowly. We all know that East Main Street needs to be done badly, My thoughts on this have always been that the sidewalk for East Main Street really, in my opinion, really only needs to be on one side. We don't need sidewalks on both sides. As to the widening of East Main Street, I'm not really sure how much wider that it should be. Sometimes I think that even though there is a bottleneck down near the glass building, sometimes it tends to slow us down. Maybe if there were too many lanes, the use of East Main Street might even be worse, with cars going faster than they do as it is. My whole concern is that it needs to be resurfaced. It is like a washboard trying to go down from Charles Street all the way down into downtown Torrington. We need to put in an appearance so that when people coming into our city, at least they have a very nice paved road to come into Torrington. Having it feel like a washboard and look like a washboard is not to our advantage. It doesn't show a very pretty front door to Torrington. So I just think that the state needs to move a little bit quicker on connecting what they've done in New Hartford, which is lovely, and what they're doing now coming down from Litchfield, which is lovely. So now Torrington needs to take advantage of a nice, well-paved street. So hopefully they will get started. I thought they were going to do it this year. So, but that apparently didn't happen. So we need to know, when this is all going to come to fruition. You know me, Rista, I need things done like ASAP.
I'm with you, Marie. I want it done too.
We love you. We love you, councilwoman.
I love you guys too, and I miss every one of you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's somebody who doesn't have a name. It just says iPad on here. I'm not sure who that is. If you want to unmute yourself and introduce yourself. I'm not sure if you're saying it.
Or Lorraine.
Yeah, or Lorraine. Yep, either one.
Do you have everyone muted?
Well, I mean, they should be, you guys.
They can, all right, so they can
yourself.
control, okay.
Yeah, I don't have it, so anybody is,
Huh.
blocked.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yay.
I'm Marcy,
Hi, Marcy.
Hi, Marcy.
and we're new to the town, but I've worked in Torrington for many, many years. And my biggest concern is that East Main Street, I try to avoid it at all costs. It's because it is so congested, and I don't know what the answer is.
How long have you lived in the city?
It'll be 3 years Thanksgiving.
But you've worked here for a number of years?
Yes, I did. I worked in the glass building for a number of years.
Ah. So do you still work there?
No, I retired at least 10 years ago.
Ah,
When the economy went downhill, so did my job. I don't want to get into what I did, but it was in human services, and I was hitting my head against the wall every day. So
yep.
I said, I'm going to take an early retirement.
There you go.
But we
So
lived
are
in
there-
Hampstead at the time.
Mm-hmm. So
And,
do you keep an eye on the traffic congestion, and do you use East Main Street for shopping, but you go at off-peak hours, or how do you work around that?
The only shopping I really do on East Main is if I went to, well, maybe a couple of the restaurants, and then to BJ's and to Cumberland Farms for gas.
Okay,
That's about the extent of it, all the way up to maybe the plaza there where Price Chopper is, and
okay,
then downtown. But I try and use the back roads as much as I can, because it's this councilwoman who just mentioned how bad the road is, number one, and number two, the traffic. And it's, I don't know if it's lights aren't synchronized or what, but it's very frustrating.
mm-hmm. And what side of town do you live on?
I live at Torrington Ridge Estates. It's up by Cider Mill Crossing.
Yeah, so, but you've got a couple options to get there, but once, as you said, once you're on East Main and you want to go along to hit BJ's and Cumberland or whatever, you're still in the queue there.
Right,
Yep.
right.
I see. Interesting.
She
And
makes an,
You work.
sorry.
I was
She
just gonna-
makes an
one more question.
excellent point about timing, so we should make sure the timing of lights. that needs to be on the list. I think Michael has got that one on the list anyway, but
Yeah, Mike Santos has, I think, already looked at that, Marty. And has some ideas. One other thing, Marcy, if you could. So how many years were you coming? Where did you come from? When you moved to Torrington, you were coming from the east or the west, or?
We lived in Barkhamsted,
Ah, okay.
and sometimes I'd go down Route 219 and
Okay.
pick up 202 there by Antolini School and go down, or get on Route 8. You know,
Okay.
it varied.
Uh-huh. And over that period of time, if you did travel through East Main Street, well, did you go there? Did you shop there even though you weren't living in town?
Not really.
Okay,
I'd go towards Avon.
yep. Okay, interesting. All right. I was going to ask you about what your sense was of traffic patterns there. We talked to a few businesses this morning, and of course, you know, businesses love traffic, but not so much that it impedes their business. You know, there's that balance there. So I was just interested in your opinions on what you felt the traffic flow and the traffic volumes have done over the last few years as you were working.
Well,
okay.
I've always seen quite a few cars on the road. I mean, I've never seen a dull time, except if we were going to the Warner Theater and coming home at night afterwards, you know, after the performance.
Right.
But every time I've been on East Main Street, no matter what time of the day, the traffic has always been bad.
Okay.
And I don't understand why some places have 2 lanes and it goes down to 1 lane, back to 2 lanes.
Yes. We were talking about that this morning, how some of those areas like where Dibble Street is in front of Wendy's, it necks
Yes.
down right there.
Uh-huh.
The cars are like jockeying because they want to get in front of someone. and they're going so
Exactly.
Fast.
Exactly. And if you're coming from Home Depot, it's 2 lanes, then down to 1, and then back to 2, and then
Yep.
down to 1.
Yep.
Once you cross the intersection there of Torringford West,
Right. And I noticed, I mean,
not Torringford West, 183.
183, yeah, yeah. So, I always try to think, I mean, I'm very familiar with the corridor, and most of us are, but what about a visitor that's coming in? We're trying to revitalize downtown. We want to bring people in from all directions.
Mhm.
And coming in that corridor, if you're a first timer, you're not quite sure which lane, what's going on, do I get in the left
Exactly.
lane? Do I get in the right lane? It's a challenge for sure.
And then when I get down to downtown Torrington, my hairdresser is right in the area of where the old Reedman store. And
Okay.
if you're coming from the east and you get downtown, I can't park there. There's no parking.
Ah,
So then you either have to go down and turn around where TJ Maxx is and then go back up East Main.
yep.
We're
Yep.
gonna help you out with that. We're gonna have some signage that shows you how to get to the new parking lot that's off Franklin Street. And then you can get to your hairdressers much easier.
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot what's the parking count there? How many spaces did we end up with?
30.
30. Yeah. That will help for sure. Okay, have we heard from everyone? And are there others that have spoken that want to add more or additional thoughts?
I don't know how you'd be able to widen it, because so many of the businesses are so close to the road that
Well,
they wouldn't
right.
have any frontage in front of them to, be safe.
Just because we're studying, this isn't a widening design project by any means.
Mhm.
This is a corridor study. And part of the corridor study, we are examining the proximity of the right-of-way that the DOT owns. The state owns it, and businesses, curb cuts, a lot of that very competing interests. In areas where we think that widening is warranted because of safety concerns, that has to be balanced. I mean, we're not designing per se, but we're examining it. But our charge has not been go widen East Main Street and alleviate congestion, because as we know, sometimes widening just gives you a short-term fix. So you have to
Exactly.
you've got to think about a lot of things, not just widening.
Mhm. Exactly.
And one thing I should mention, that Marty and Rista are part of a technical advisory committee, along with the Northwest Hills COG, who is actually assisting the city in administering this grant that we got from the DOT. And we have the city engineer that sits on the committee, and a representative of the DOT. So from not the district, but the main office on the Berlin Turnpike. And he's been great because he's a sounding board, and he's going to hear some of these concerns firsthand as we download everything we hear, and we start looking at recommendations and trying to balance all of this. And like I said, we're not going to be able to fix everything, but we have to at least call them out, and we've got to come up with some type of prioritization so that people understand that this just can't continue to be left alone.
Totally agree.
Yeah, so that technical advisory committee, we call it the TAC, you know, that's an integral part of what we're doing. So we're not off on our own, just like doodling and making drawings and widening things. It's really a collaborative discussion of what can work, what the DOT will accept. You know, there's a number of things we're trying to balance.
One thing, if I may, I know up by Walmart, it's very difficult if you're coming from the east to take a left into that parking lot because you can't see what's coming up. And then people are trying to turn into Goodwill at the same time. It's accidents waiting to happen.
Mhm. Marty, they're going to be expanding that area into Walmart.
Yes, and the Planning and Zoning Commission just approved some additions to the Walmart, the Petco, and 2 pad sites, but they also are requiring some changes to the configuration of when you leave that Walmart center and when you enter it, which should help the traffic considerably. So, and then the thing that Maria will get a kick out of, because I've been asking for this for about 20 years, is we're at least going to get the Walmart developer to build the interconnect to the Target center. And then when Target does something, then we're going to make them connected. So wouldn't it be nice to be able to go from Walmart to Target without having to go out onto East Main? So you could shop in both centers without dealing with the traffic. That's my hope for
Yep.
somewhere down the road. Not soon enough, right, Maria?
Not soon enough, and we're hoping that they're listening to you this time, Marty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you, Councilwoman.
you're
Yeah,
welcome.
I would like to piggyback onto what Marty said, if I could.
Yeah, Sharon.
I love the idea of connecting that back part of Target to Walmart, and I had forgotten that this has been, in Marty's head and hopefully on the plans going forward, because I think that would make a big difference. The same with Goodwill, and I know that I've seen a lot of traffic there. I go into Goodwill and drop things off myself frequently, but sometimes, while it's a little bit more intricate, I will go off at the light by Target and go through that parking lot instead of staying on East Main. I don't know, that's a little more complicated, but maybe there's some way we can reconfigure the way that works so that Goodwill is on like that inner area and accessible by that traffic light. I don't know if that's a possibility long term.
Sharon, you can go all the way to Big Lots
Right,
through the centers. We did make them connect. The one that wouldn't connect was Taco
Taco
Bell.
Bell.
right.
Wish that Taco Bell would have, because then you could have gone out to the traffic light.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was just thinking of the entrance in and out of Goodwill, because I've seen some near accidents there, and I know there have been accidents in that area. So if that was
right.
part of that inner area, that might alleviate that.
So Sharon, are you thinking are they making a left into Goodwill?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously, like if they come from the east, they're gonna probably cut into Big Lots and maybe through.
Right, or maybe even wait and go into Goodwill and make that right turn.
Right
But
turn, yeah, who cares? But it's the
yeah,
left
it's that
turn.
left. Yeah.
Okay.
I
That's
mean, I love
interesting.
what Marzano's did, that their entrance is off the side road, so you don't have all that traffic going into that restaurant. That's made a big difference there.
Wait till we add Chipotle next door.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and it's all going to be interconnected, Sharon.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
Yeah. Speaking of connectivity, when I was doing, I guess after our business call this morning, I was looking at the aerials and doing some other work. And what do you think about connection from the residents behind Target? Has anyone been approached, or do they don't want,
Let me tell you a story about that, Val. I wanted a pedestrian connection to that
Right.
neighborhood.
Yeah,
And I had the developer show it on a set of plans. And I ended up with a petition from the neighborhood that they didn't want any connection. They wanted a high board fence there. So
so no.
So
the
the
answer
answer
was
is
no.
no.
Yeah,
The
no,
planner
that,
wanted that and they were highly against it.
right,
Okay.
that did not go over well at all, Marty. No,
Yeah,
no, it did
They-
not. No.
they were worried about pedophiles and all kinds of
Yeah,
silly.
right.
Oh, yeah, especially at Target.
Oh, God.
All I could do was think about how nice it would be to live in that neighborhood and
To be able to
walk.
walk. Yeah,
Yeah, that's, okay.
But I
We
did
will-
get them
we
to
will not
accept
bring
a
that
little,
up again.
they did accept the park around the corner from them, so that was good.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, any other comments, questions?
I just want to make a comment on the success of Franklin Plaza. That parking lot has made such a difference. I love it. I love the whole setup. And Saturday, I was down there for the Women's March, and there were people who had not been back there at all. And they were so impressed with the walkway, with that a labyrinth area. It was just so impressive. And I was looking at people smiling, and I thought, oh, if you only knew all the work that took to get to this point. It was really awesome. So thank you too, Val, for all of that you've done to help
You're
us
very
with this.
welcome. You know, it's something because as you know, Sharon, as we started out with this vision and I was going through the umpteen public outreach meetings that we had.
Right.
And it really wasn't until we did that little tactical urbanism and we mocked it up,
Yeah,
which I think had Rista and Aaron running around like chickens by the head the whole day. But it really wasn't until then that people understood, oh, I
they have
get
to
it.
see it. They really have to see it to understand it. It's
Yeah,
true.
yeah. And even because we know, I mean, even some of the businesses were like, what do you
Well, they
mean
couldn't
someone
see how
can't
it could
drive?
work. Yeah,
I know.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm really happy. I've been down there a few times now. So
yeah. It's beautiful.
yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else? What do you think, Resta?
I think we're good. And unless anybody else had any other comments, I think this has been helpful. I really
Very good
appreciate
comments.
everybody taking the time to participate. As we get off this meeting, if there's other things that you have in mind, feel free to email me or use our map to
Yep.
submit other comments.
And spread the
we'll-
word. I mean, spread the
Yeah.
word. If you run into your neighbors, if you can, if you actually get to see someone or talk to someone, let them know that you participate. This is basically, smaller little focus groups. Although we're going to have larger virtual forums moving forward, but urge them to go onto the website if they want to email Rista, the mayor, whatever they want to do. I mean, we've received a number of emails and the comments are just spot on and so appropriate and so understanding. I mean, they're really, really helpful.
Yeah,
Because there's nothing worse than, a consultant coming in and, talking about stuff, but you folks are living it and we're not surprised, but it's so good to hear what you're experiencing,
I'm going to take advantage of the fact that the registered citizen is listening in to us today.
Yes,
And I'm not sure if it's Emily or not, but
Emily.
It's Emily.
hi, Emily. Perhaps we could promote that survey on the city website through the newspaper as well, so we can get some more publicity for that. We get more feedback that way.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Is that on, is it up now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
all
And
right.
Thank you, Emily.
You're welcome.
Emily, I just took a screenshot of that for the slide for this.
I can send you the link in the
Yeah.
morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll include that. I'm writing this for the weekend, so
okay.
I have time.
Awesome.
Send it to
Thank you for
first thing
getting in.
tomorrow.
Val, thank you for sending the map.
You're welcome.
Um,
And then, we're gonna have lots of, juicy graphics and stuff to share with you as we move.
Yay.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Send me whatever you want.
Okay.
I'll find a way to get it in there.
Right.
Awesome.
Well, Emily, while we have you captive, I was thinking if you want to talk to your editors, maybe we do almost like a 3, issue installment. We talk about existing conditions the first time, recommendations, and then sort of the final report and
Okay.
what implementation. Just for 3 nights leading up to maybe in January. Plus, I think your readers would be interested in that kind of follow through. To have a segment.
Yes, I agree.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna cover all the, all the forums and stuff because, I drive East Main all the time. I don't know all the back roads like some people do because I'm not from here. So I sit on East Main all the time.
Yep.
Go, what's going on up there? And I get up there and there's nothing. It's just that, it's like it's 1 lane and then it's 2 lanes, like you were saying. And
Yeah.
I have to agree with the paving thing comment from Marcy because it's so smooth, and then as soon as you get into the really busy part, it's bumpy and and yet you can tell why. You
Yeah.
can tell why it's like that because it's just never ends. Traffic, there's traffic on that part of the road, like from the Route 8 ramp, past the glass building. That little area takes such a beating every day
Mhm.
because so many people are turning and turning onto Route 4, turning onto the highway, going around the back to go to Aldi or to get on Elm, wherever it is that they're going. And that road is that's the artery, that's the spot. So it's a challenge,
There
right?
you go. All right, everyone.
Not that my comments matter because I don't live here, but
Yeah, but you drive
throw in
there.
my
I mean,
2
right.
cents.
But you're a visitor, so you count.
Yes, you do count.
Okay,
And
thank
you're
you.
spreading the good news, so we need to get it good.
Yeah, yeah, it's very interesting. Thank you.
All right, well,
Thank you,
thank you
Rista.
all so much.
Thank you, everyone. Stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you, Rista. Thank you, Val.